Okay. Let's see. I'm just reading chat, picking up, see what I'm missing before I begin. I am recording though. Hmm. See if I can't fix that then. Let's see. I'm just checking my audio now because it's apparently super quiet. Oh. Okay. Now, in that case, I can just begin. I'm on my earbuds. Cannot really help bring myself louder, so if I'm just required for you, slap me up to 200%. Um, Otherwise, let's begin. So, I hope everyone had a good holiday break. Hope everyone enjoyed their New Year's Eve, their Christmases, their Hanukkahs, what have you. Um, but since we are now back from our break, a couple things of note. Hopefully, this meeting will be a bit shorter, as I am running on 5 hours of sleep. But now that the break is now over, I'm back to working on the guide, making some pretty good progress. I'm sure people have seen some of the things I've been posting, um, like with the enchantment listings out in the little questions forum. Um, some new not quest, class stuff been going up as well. I've been reviewing the oracle that's been put forth by members of the community. Um, I'm just reading through chat. 1 second. Um, Pretty huge update for the bestiary. Another one. Um, with the bestiary being pretty much the same in terms of mechanics. It's just a cleaner looking system, so it's not like just a whole bunch of data in your face, where the actual helpful part of it is in the corner, out of the way. Now it's just there, usable, and does what it needs to do. But with all that said, still working on the guide. It's taking longer than expected, but I'm also going a little overboard, as is tradition for me. So, you know, um, but solid progress has been made. Outside of that, in terms of things that should be being worked on in the future, um, the standard bestiary, equipment guide, all that good stuff. Um, there should be, per what we've been reading through in chat, and something that we bring up in a moment, would be the end of year uh, poll results. Some cleaning up of the Discord server, so kind of organizing the channels again, making things shiny and new looking. Um, hopefully getting all of our rules consolidated into two places, those being World Anvil and Discord. So all the rules can be found in these one locations, because I know a lot of them are still scattered right now in Discord. Um, so that's on the docket to start working on and making sure those are set up and no longer scattered. Um, on my docket is also to go through the Living World Questions channel, uh, answer all those questions that are in there, and start transferring some of the more, uh, I'd say, notable ones. Not important ones, but notable. Just the frequently asked questions, essentially. Just put them into the forum so they're there and accessible, and add them to the Living World errata as well. So that's on my docket. If you've seen me answer questions in the past and you have access to World Anvil editing, be great help if you also do that, where you just go there and find the answers, slap them on World Anvil. Um, let's see, there's some other things, but I'm trying to remember what they were. There's a bunch of stuff. It's on the docket and leadership style, but mine's still waking up, so we'll remember if we remember. But outside of all that, with the new year, um, in terms of adventures, hopefully we can start getting these storylines starting to feel a bit more. I'm horribly thinking of the wrong names right now. Starting to spice things up a bit more. Starting to drop more of like the heavier stuff for players, since we have a lot of people hitting the cap of level. So at this point, it'd be good to start going from there and getting towards more of like the end content cap. And I don't mean like end of the world content. I just more mean like more level 5 stuffs, more campaign style things for players, as well as I know we've had a few prestige events run, but more prestige events as well. And big thing for leadership, just in general for like community side of leadership and whatnot, is posting in Reddit, posting on different looking for group channels, different Discord servers, and so on and so forth, for new blood to join the server, especially for role-playing event team members, game masters, uh, pretty much that. Let's see here. Now, one of the things that I'm not going to have us discuss for this meeting, just because I want this one to be short and sweet, uh, but something that is definitely on my eye as a potential for us to do would be for downtime, as per the suggestion potentially used by uh, uh, for the simplistic ones that are just like, oh, you just click a button, you roll a dice maybe, the results are always what they are. For such things, potentially used by the community, and just like give a thumbs up by our team. Anything that would be super easy to just handle, we just it'll save us a whole lot of effort. That way we can focus on the ones that are more complicated. So something to keep an eye on. It's not out right now. Still want to discuss with the team, but want to keep people start ruminating on that idea so we can come back next week and properly discuss it. Yes, that is definitely good to remember. The current level cap is 5th level, and the current XP cap is the bare minimum to reach 5th level. Alright. And there's more like small minor tweaks that I have in my docket as well, such as uh, putting all like these small side rules that are obscure that are not yet on World Anvil, put them on World Anvil. But other than that, it's most part what I just said is all about what we're looking at in terms of what I have in the docket, any updates I have and whatnot. So going over what's on everyone else's docket, we have quite the list. So as per suggestion, uh, best keep these topics to like 10-15 minutes just so we can get through it quick back. And if we need more time, we can always just continue it for next week if people think we need more time for such a topic. But going through the list, just making sure, scrolling up so we can make sure I get uh, Sax posts about their update for Divinity, uh, just for the meeting purposes. Um, Divinity has been recruiting. We have some new members with Andy and Prizric. Welcome to the team. Hopefully you guys enjoy the new role. And as noted here, for myself, I still need to drop you guys some seeds for the Divinity that are not yet written. I still have on my docket as well, I think 3 of the gods that need my full-on interaction with, because I have a lot of like notes from previous campaigns that are listed for them, so those are just for me to write. Um, but other than that, Piety's been getting a second draft, so that should hopefully be released soon, and then from there we can release it to the major main public. And some guidelines for more Divinity related stuff are also on the docket for Divinity team, so that's fancy and new. Alright, see if I missed anything real quick. That's a big old rip right there, Fritz. Welcome to the team. It's all good, pie. Alright, now for the topics of the giant bullet point list. Losing XP when leveling up from downtime days. So, the way it currently works, just for purposes of this topic and whatnot, Um, Whenever you would level up, any access experience above the minimum required to hit that level up is currently lost as it currently stands. So if you were to gain 3 experience, you need 2 to level up, you'd only gain 2. You just lose that extra 1. That is currently how it stands right now, as the intention was when I initially made the downtime experience leveling up system, that it's definitely not the way to level up. It is an option that is slow, as it is not intended to just be a way to power level. Um, that said, civilians can only use downtime days and until we get more RP events, pretty much just downtime days to level up. Uh, though they have access to training games to gain experience, and they also have access to RP events. When we do get those out, hopefully with the new members that have been joining the team, we can get more of those going. But definitely need some more recruitments for that. Yeah. So, um, in terms of this, hopefully you guys can't hear all that really loud noise. It sounds like someone's up there who's cleaning up the snow. But in terms of losing experience when leveling, people have any strong opinions one way or the other for yay or nay towards removing that restriction? Whether that be removing it for everyone, removing that for civilians only, or keeping it as is.
It should be a civilian only, specifically because their entire mechanic is basically right now based around downtime days, where adventure is not.
Yeah, adventurers can get XP off of missions. I don't think that they should be able to not lose XP when civilians, can't go on missions.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we're gonna unlock it, it's definitely just a civilian feature.
I mean, how much does it really matter when you unlock it to everyone? Because you get, like, at this tier, a 1 experience or something like that will overflow? Because you can only get a maximum of, like, 2 experience from these downtime sets, maximum?
No. So, whenever you finish a full tick of XP, you gain experience equal to your proficiency bonus. So it's
Yeah.
2 XP, but 2 XP can matter a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
So that difference can only ever be 1.
No, I
No.
literally just got 8 XP from adventuring. What do you mean?
Yeah, you get that. Okay. What I'm saying is that when you finish a tick, it is not ticking all at once. You're not getting 8 XP at once. You're getting 2, then 2, then 2, then 2. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
So the way that
I
it
see.
currently
I see.
works is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
if you only need 1 XP to level, and then you get 8 XP off of it, you lose
You would get
6.
no, you would get 1, and then you get 6, so it gets 7 instead of 8.
Oh,
But
okay,
only
I'm misunderstanding how it works then. I assumed that it was just all of it gone, kaput. You get all at once. Okay.
Like, I'm not saying like it doesn't matter, but I'm saying like it's not as significant as we think it is. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. It's
Well,
only
at
you'd
the
2.
only
moment,
lose.
maybe,
Yeah.
but once proficiency bonuses go up and you get more XP
At the next tier, it will
for
be
this,
6 XP for tick, so you lose max of 5, which is still not that big when you need like what 100, 200 XP. What
I
is it
mean, but
from 5 to 6?
I don't think that's necessarily as important as looking at what is the intent, and the intent of it is so that specifically adventurers cannot use it as a way to just AFK and level up. That was the entire intent of that, and so if we're going to keep it, we need to stay with that intent.
Honestly, I don't really see how it would be a significant benefit nor detriment to adventurers, even when we get to tier 2. And so making it different between adventurers and civilians just seems needlessly complex.
Certainly fair.
Honestly, for me, this seems kind of just needlessly complex as a whole. I think if we're trying to make adventurers or civilians not use downtime days adventurers use downtime days to level up. We can just nerf XP or implement other mechanics, not randomly take away XP if they level up on an odd number of XP versus an even number.
I mean, you can't nerf XP because you have an entire class system, the civilians, that are based around that XP. So you can't
Yeah.
nerf it without directly nerfing them.
The counterpoint is I don't think adventurers should be getting most of their XP from downtime to begin with,
I agree.
because they're adventurers adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to be able to get XP if you have a schedule. You're just unlucky with games, because it means that you aren't just kind of sitting there doing nothing for several months. But you know,
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's what this current system is doing. This current system just chips you out of like 3 or 4 XP randomly if you're at like 7 if you're currently at 9 XP and you get 2, you lose 1, but if you're at 8 XP and you get 2, then you don't lose 1?
Yeah, you lose.
Which seems like a weird way to enforce adventurers not getting XP. No?
I mean, I
Me?
disagree, but I mean, if you also look at what Siren said, they got 20 out of their 100 XP from downtime days, which is kind of a lot, especially for adventuring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So either that or adventuring specifically needs to be nerfed.
I'd say go after adventuring specifically, not this feature that's, in my opinion, only applicable kind of randomly and not
I think
necessarily if you're a adventurer or not.
from all that's been said on this, and for Legacy, before I go into more details, I did initially, I brought the topic, state what the original intent was, and that it was intended not to be a main way to gain experience, just like a happy little bonus. But for civilians, since is their main way to gain experience, this is kind of where we kind of brought up the point where it should perhaps not be mitigated and reduced. But based on people's opinions, I think a good way to get one, keep it more simplified, and two, to keep the original intent would be to um, remove the reduction entirely, regardless on if you're a civilian adventurer, but reduce the effectiveness of the adventuring only options. So
I
just
would
reduce the
I
two
would agree to
options.
that because it also sorry, go ahead.
It's not just adventuring, because you can get the same amount of XP for doing, I think, pit fighting and like 2 other things.
Well, that's what I mean.
I mean,
Adventuring
pit fighting
only
is.
options.
But the other options too, if you do pit fighting and stuff, they have an explicit downside in that you could actually lose money and or lose body parts.
And
When you're
civilians also can
adventuring,
do
you
pit
don't lose
fighting.
anything.
There
You
is
just
no
get
downside
it.
to adventuring.
Add
Yeah.
downside to adventuring, lol.
No,
Just add an event.
No.
that sounds awful.
That is
There
another
need-
That
so
does.
there
That does
there needs, in
bring.
my
Yeah,
opinion,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's just it. In my opinion, there needs to be options that don't have downsides, just so that there's always a safe option, and you're not, if you're really unlucky, just getting completely fucked over by percentile dice. So adding a bad option to adventure is a terrible idea. At least in my opinion.
In my opinion, the safe option right now is practice a profession.
That's true.
That doesn't really give you nearly as much XP, and yet it would give you more money. But if we look historically at the actual submissions, practicing a profession is mostly used by civilians.
I mean, practice doesn't even give as much money as adventuring does.
Yeah, adventuring
For
will
most people.
eventually just slam you with gold, as it does increase exponentially.
So right now, practice and profession is supposed to be the more gold option, and adventure is supposed to be the more XP option, but only
Mm-hmm.
for adventurers. Yes?
Essentially, though eventually adventuring will uh, increase in effectiveness for coin, as the wealth gain is pretty crazy the higher level, the higher in tier you get. But another option would be just to simply have, as a civilian feature, double XP gains from downtime, while we just change the base experience gain from downtime to be half proficiency bonus instead of full proficiency bonus.
Um,
Or we can
you
just keep it as is and
could.
just make it so
I think it's
civilians get
fine
double.
as is, but the more I think pressing issue, at least when it comes to civilian XP, is most of, if not all of their classes, when they get XP, it's all from doing very staff intensive downtime actions such as crafting, gathering information. Whereas adventuring, you can just get it instantly. So
Mm-hmm.
civilians are often waiting 2 to 3 months for their crafting submission stuff just to get their experience because that's where they can only get experience from.
Yeah.
So I think that's also bottlenecking a lot of stuff too, is the fact that they're waiting on their experience. Where adventuring, that you just get it. You don't have that wait time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think on that end, just because we're getting a little uh, heavy on this topic time wise, um, I think the easy clap ones, just remove the clipping, look at the numbers in terms of.
Before we go further into the discussion of civilian and adventurer XP, I'd like to get some clarification on the intent behind the wasted XP mechanic NERP, to make sure whether we need to keep that around or not.
What clarifications are you needing? While they're typing, anyone have any other opinions on this?
Independent of downtime stuff, the original question ladder raised was that currently when you level up, if you have XP above the needed amount, it's removed. Was that an intended rule, and what was it meant to prevent? Multiple levels up in succession?
Um, yes, it was an intended rule, and the intention was not to prevent multiple levels in succession, as that was physically impossible with how it's currently mechanically works, um, or how it was originally made. Um, it was intended to be a way to essentially make downtime not the way to level up. With the potential to just drop a fat stack of downtime days to gain experience, it could have been potentially more effective than actually going on missions. Especially if we drop like 60 downtime days in one period. Yeah. So that was why there's that mitigating uh, cap. But it seems current plan is to remove the cap, as that simplifies the process, and just adjust the values somewhat.
I suppose the question for that, if we really want to consider that carefully, is when does the cap actually apply? Because you can have like backed up XP
Mhm.
technically forever if you never long rest somehow. Uh, but because RPing is weird, uh, as like when you plan to long rest,
Uh,
when do you level up?
it's always on a long rest when you physically level up. The cap reduction always applies at the required amount to level up. So if you're at 9, even if you don't long rest, uh, regardless though, if you're gaining downtime experience, you are going to level up. Unless you're like already in mission or something like that.
Okay.
But as a civilian, you just level up. There's like no saying I don't level up unless you, as a player, like I don't want to level up. In which case your cap is not 10, it would be 9 if you're level 1. Because if you choose not to level up, your cap equals the minimum amount to level up minus 1. Because you're physically denying yourself experience at that point.
Hmm.
Or I guess mechanically, you don't physically like no XP get away.
And currently, as written, this only applies. This like cutoff applies to downtime.
Currently, yes. I know in multiple videos we've said that the cutoff mechanic does apply for like if you choose to willingly reduce experience. We have said this multiple times in videos, multiple times in I believe I posted multiple times in literal questions, but that's not the best. Which is why at the beginning of this I was saying consolidating all the rules, making sure they're all world enable, all in the literal rules section, all that stuff. So things are not like scattered about. That was one of the big uh, feedbacks we got from the end of the year forum. So yeah. But with all that said, since this topic is getting definitely longer than the intended time, we can continue discussing more of the finer details next week. But it does look like we'll probably be removing the XP mitigation and reducing some of the tick value. Yeah, XP from adventuring is huge, but some balancing looks things we're going to be looking at, so something to discuss further next week while we look into the values and potentially bring up some suggestions for next week. Let's see here. Next on the docket, disguise isn't affecting others' influence. This is a spicy topic. I know from a
No.
political standpoint, the answer is no. That is a headache. Don't want to deal with it. Um,
It's just a lot of tracking for very minimal payout that would be very easy for people to grief with. Because all
yes.
you have to do is make a character that's good at disguises, and then you can just pick someone at random and then tank all of their influence by being a dick.
Yes.
So
So,
absolutely not.
so my thoughts on this were if all parties agreed, sure. But unlike other forms of PvP where if you say something that might trigger someone else, like, hey, you a dick, uh, wherein that will then act as you agreeing to PvP. Basically, if you're antagonistic, you're agreeing to PvP. Uh, you cannot agree without explicitly saying, hey, you can use my influence if you disguise as me for this one time, because it's not a clear cut every time. If I agree once, it's agreed for every time. It's individually based. Um, then sure, I would be okay with it if all parties agree to spend it. Otherwise, yeah, no.
I just don't think it's worth it for the amount of tracking that. Wow, I somehow managed to mix tracking and upkeep into the same
I've
word.
been
Good
there.
lord. For the amount of tracking that's going to be needed, I don't. What is talking? Holy fuck. I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think it would need a lot of tracking, to be
Well,
honest.
it would in so much that you would have to figure out, first off, every single time that someone agrees, and people are lazy. I guarantee you that they are going to, at some point, just like, hey, yeah, you can just do this. I don't care. So you could stop asking me every single time that we want to spam someone's influence up.
Well, I think what we do anyways, since if people are going to be spending influence, they have to notify us regardless, and we have to give them a thumbs up and player tracking. Um, they would just notify us and the player to confirm, and would need to receive thumbs from both us and the player. That'd be the only difference.
I was gonna say, you just mention the other person and be like, "Is this okay?" And then if they don't say anything for 2 days, then that's
It's
not on
denied.
us.
Yeah, it's just denied right there.
Just say no.
I just personally don't like the idea. If people want to push it through, then by all means, I just don't like the idea of it. That's just my personal opinion though.
Can we trade influence already? Or
No, you
Um
can't.
no.
That's exactly why the theoretical right now is that it shouldn't be. Because as Jokey brings up, and I think Fritz brought it up too, it's very easy then to just start having one or two people stack influence and then just everyone milking that to do whatever they want.
That's fair. I can see that being an issue.
Especially like as Jokey brought up, like Folk Hero and Troubadour both can do it pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, while it's a neat idea, it's a lot of fucking tracking for us to have to handle something that can easily be abused, and it's not like we don't have people trying to pull some shit. So,
Yeah.
and it also means constant pings to political that requires us to not be mad at them when they do stupid shit.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm always gonna be mad at people when they do stupid shit. So that's already out of the
Ping.
out of the point.
But the point is that we don't need more pings for political for something that honestly is very abusable.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, as of current, really the only political pings are PvP, or people want to do basically what Full Metal Tim has done the past. How many characters has he had?
Too.
Too.
Yeah, the past two
He's still
characters
going, baby.
where he's just like, hey, I want to eat people.
I mean,
Well,
sometimes you gotta eat.
drink their blood, but you know what I mean.
vampires gotta eat.
It's true.
He's a dampier,
Alright.
but yeah.
But I think for this one, it's pretty clear the downsides. The upsides, while nice, will require a lot of effort on our end to achieve. So I think this one we can just deny it for now. If we can get a good write-up from someone who is like really invested, in a way for us to just negate all efforts that we need to uh, basically add even more work on our end, then we can look at it again. But for right now, I think we can just be like, we'll pass for now.
We also have thinning staff, so anything that requires more tracking is already a hassle.
Honestly, the main reason I'd say no is because if you get to 50 XP, we have to like make an event or quest, and that just sounds like them assigning us homework.
All right. Let's see here. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. It would have been nice if I plugged in my mouse, but I didn't, so here we are. Alright. Character update pins. I don't know what that means. Remove the Discord username, update, change pins, and freely updating characters pre-launch pin. Are you saying pins and channels are no longer necessary? Just waiting for them to post their response. Because if it is the just removing pins, updating pins that we have, yeah, I mean, easy clap. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so just basically cleaning up, making sure things are clean and condensed and looking pretty. That's just part of the restructuring of the Discord part of on our docket then. So nothing too much to discuss in that regard. Just this is something it's notable. And if we have any helpful ideas for it, then cool. But yeah, it's on the docket. Healing potion buffs. Healing potions now heal for 2d8. They heal the same as healing word. Need to add it to rolled anvil. Need to add it um, to the Discord channel here for rules. For rules.
2d8 plus 2 or just 2d8?
Based 2d8 plus the value that they have. Basically, the dice have just been changed to d8s instead of d4s. Otherwise, they function the same.
So greater would be 4d8 plus 4.
Yes. And that's just to keep them in line with the healing power of the weakest healing spell.
Are potions considered magical healing?
Yes.
I would assume so, considering they are
Okay.
magic.
I'm making notes for future.
It should be notable because they might not have been considered it. They could have been considered alchemical healing, which would not be magical. So it's a good,
Yeah.
fair question.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they are considered magical healing, especially for purposes of like bleed damage or bleeding condition, more importantly. Player downtime days will need context for. Not sure what port that means. Is that tied with the losing experience? So I'm not really sure to go with that one. The buff
It was a suggestion to give people the ability to do DTDs by themselves.
Gotcha. We've touched that on already at the beginning. More of we'll be continuing that next time, but it's a lengthy topic, so we'll continue that more in depth next week. But it was brought up. Approve their own? No, that was never on the docket. It was more of a they can say, here's what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, cool. Yeah, they can write their own. They can roll their own per dice roller channels, is the suggestion. Um, it's looked at. I think it's something we can do, easy clap, but I want more people's opinions on it. I want all that, and that's more of a lengthier conversation, I feel, just because of the nature of this particular subject. So it is.
We'll have to go over all the options because we can't allow them to do that for everything.
Exactly. So it's more of a
They
we'll
can,
table it for now.
they can do it for some, but others are staff only because that's back end stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially if
if
it's
you
like
have time,
lore.
if you have time, ND did write up like a bunch of stuff for it, specifically the ones that we were intending, or at least they were intending to allow.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
did
a good idea to
notice
look
that. It's
over.
pretty good. Pretty good write up that you have. Pretty good selection of downtimes options. I'd say that are easy clap. Yeah, these can work. Yeah, and once the shopping, the equipment guide updates out, which includes the shopping uh, form for a Google Sheet, um, yeah, that's going to be an easy clap right there to add shopping to the docket too. But
Is there, sorry, I have a clarifying question on shopping. I've seen a lot of people, and I say a lot of people because I don't understand how shopping works.
mm-hmm.
I've seen some people say in suggestion, or not in suggestions, but like in their responses that they're upgrading stuff. I thought that had to be crafting. I didn't think you could upgrade your tool sets by shopping.
So you cannot upgrade by shopping. You can uh, purchase a higher grade tool with shopping. It would 100% be a crafting solution to upgrade something.
Okay,
You'd
because I guess
essentially be hiring someone to upgrade it for you, which is probably where it goes into the shopping function of it, where people are getting confused.
yeah.
Thing is, no, we did. It was an old topic. We did allow upgrading using the quality rules, so you would just spend the same amount of days as you would
Yeah,
buying the. You just essentially don't buy the tool. You just buy the upgrade. You just pay for
yeah.
the oil.
So
Okay, well, I mean
mechanically
that's
it's shopping,
also
but
yeah.
it's technically crafting. It's weird.
Okay, because I was gonna say for the oils, like at least specifically for our Logis, like I have a precedence that any upgrades or any rules you have to spend 5 influence per use of an oil,
Mm-hmm.
unless you have an otherwise thing. But the other reason is because I've noticed, and I think this is also part of my confusion a little bit on the difference, because what is the distinction between what you can get with shopping and what you have to do for crafting? So if I, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because if there is, say I want to buy something, but I want to have this, 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 and this on it, where is the line? And is that line like explicitly written down somewhere of what you can say you want on something? Does that
Um,
make sense?
yeah. Currently, the line for such things is no custom made items. And what that means is no items that are. If, for example, you were looking to buy a set of full plate armor that is of exceptional quality and has the relevant, you can choose the benefits, that's fine. If you wanted to
The
buy a
quality
set of,
benefits.
yeah, the quality benefits, that's fine. If you wanted to say slap a +1 magical enhancement bonus to armor class to that, or perhaps the tough magical enchantment to it, that's fine. Those are pre-made abilities that are in the book. They're good to go. However, if you're wanting to do something such as giving that set of full plate armor the I don't remember some of the names of these, but we're just gonna say stalwart. I
Mm,
feel like that's a armor property.
yeah, or like bottom mage or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like battle mage. That's a better one. Yeah, uh, that would require a custom blueprint, which would then be denied because that would require crafting rules because that armor does
Okay.
not exist naturally.
Okay, I guess the question that kind of boils down to me is what is considered to be existing naturally and what is not considered to be
If
existing
it's in the
naturally.
guide,
If it's in the guide,
essentially.
Okay.
if the pre-made set of armor is in the guide, that's fine. If you have to tweak the pre-made mechanical values of that armor via armor crafting rules. That is custom crafting when require blueprints and cannot just be shopped. Uh, Same thing goes if you're trying to make a custom quality benefit. That's going to require research rules. And the main purposes of requiring research is one, gives us time to work with the player to determine mechanical changes they would want, because research takes a very long time, like hundreds of downtime days. Um, and two, if there's like, I want to research this quality benefit that does something, crazy overpowered, we can be like, yeah, no, just denied instantly. Um, and same thing for custom magical enchantments. If it's not on the list of enchantments, it's custom, requires research rules, cannot just be purchased.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
I do have a question regarding this. So it's a matter that you can't purchase items that are custom made like that. Pretty much anything that you need like blueprint for, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you have the item and then go and upgrade it?
If the item is already had and you want to upgrade it with, say, a higher quality or more enchantments, um, one could, per upgrading rules, just as we already have for like upgrading tools, just go shop for those upgrades. If one were wanting to uh, do it themselves, crafting rules are there, or have someone else, another player, craft the upgrades for them. Again, crafting rules are there. If someone were wanting to add a unique thing, so enchantment that's not listed, quality benefits that's not listed, uh, a change to the armor properties, so if they wanted to add Battle Mage to something that doesn't have Battle Mage, to an already made magical item, that would require crafting rules and research probably.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, as currently stated, even though technically upgrades are crafting, you are paying the NPC market to do it for you, so it is shopping. Which crafters in the game can already do it probably for cheaper and quicker than the NPC market can. So, because the NPC market will not benefit from uh, certain powers that crafters will actually have. So it's, especially mid-late game, players will be the go-to, I feel, in the future. Right now it's probably shopping just because it's easy clap. You can just click it, be boom bam done. But once the update for the guide is out, once people start feeling the full effects of what crafters can achieve, with the hopefully more simplified rule set, it is simplified, just hopefully people view it as such. Um, I feel at that point people will probably start popping off on crafters, and they'll be probably more hot commodity. Yeah. All right. As for the next topic on the docket, the exhausted feature of, or making potentially the leverage feature exhaustive, um, that is essentially giving them advantage on any major research check, so I can see that one just being exhaustive. Yeah, they'd have to spend one recuperating day per day that they spend on use of that ability. Even though technically, per mechanics, it's just you slap this on, it's a one and done, you're good to go. I think for balance purposes, we just slap on the, if you're benefiting from this effect, you have to spend a recuperating day per day that you spend. Because, you need to spend a long rest recuperating from it. It is intended to be used for gathering infos. Yeah, that's the whole major benefit of that particular thing. It's just, it's really powerful. Yeah.
It's one of those things that it works well in games
Mm-hmm.
because hey, you have advantage on trying to get information. When it comes to DDTs and stuff, that's a different story because you're basically cheating system for it.
It's also more of a the downsides of binders is a lot of their role playing aspects, and downtime just ignores a lot of that. There's certain mechanical effects, such as from like uh, carousing, where role playing mechanics technically have a play in the system, but with binders and their vestiges, especially some of them, roleplay can get pretty heavily and is a pretty big downside on their major mechanical benefits. Um, so I think for downtime purposes, make it exhaustive, should be fine.
Which then forces them, if they want to continue to have advantage, you now have to spend resources to use it.
Yes.
So essentially, you can only use it for one DTD action,
One DT
and then you have to
action.
rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it basically costs double the downtime days if you want to use it for every day of your gather.
Wait, so for each day, then, not action.
Or you'd have to use multiple days of recuperate for each uh, individual activation of a gather. So if you're spending the minimum 10 downtime days to gather information, to gather one piece of information, you would need to spend one recuperate to then do again for another. I'm sleepy. Wordings are horrible. Essentially,
Okay. No.
you
Here's
can
goes.
say. You can say.
They would have to roll and then immediately spend a DDT to recuperate, roll again, spend the DDT to recuperate every single time. So
But I
so
mean,
so
gather
the
info is
only
only one roll, though.
if it's only one roll, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you spend like 30 days, for example, you only do one roll
Yeah.
for all of the info you get.
Yeah.
So instead of 30 days, you'd spend 31. That doesn't feel very exhaustive, I'm sorry.
So are people wanting it to make it a recuperate per downtime day spent? So essentially doubling the
That
cost.
would that might be too exhaustive. Like, you would have to essentially use double the days to get advantage.
I think what we could do is needs to spend a number of days recuperating equal to half of the minimum required per research or gather info activity. So if you needed to spend, say, 5 days um, minimum to gather a piece of information, and you're trying to gather 3 different pieces of information, each of those pieces of information require you to spend, if you want the benefit, um, technically it's 2.5. If people think 2 is not high enough, we can make it round up in this case, so it'd be 3, but it'd be 2 downtime days per research topic if it, were 5.
Zyron, the difference is you have to take that feat for that.
Yeah, and this is just a passive feature.
This is straight up a thing that you can easily just get normally and switch it out.
Yeah, for
Don't
this
you have to
particular.
choose if I thought you had to choose your vestiges. You can only choose X vestiges to use. You don't have access to all of them at all times, do you?
Yeah, but
I
you can
actually don't know
recoup,
much about
change it.
binders, so
Like, you can recoup, change it, and just have it for the whole period. And during the mission, you just change it to a different one.
Yeah, so you can only.
And it's not the only feature that Vestige has.
Yeah, there's a couple ones that are just blanket. You have this benefit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can change your vestiges, um, so it's not too difficult to adjust things there.
Yeah, bind. Even at level 1, bind has 3 vestiges. You just only have 1 active.
Mhm. So you're suggesting ND and Xyrun, um, 1 DTD per topic, essentially.
But again, that would be you spend 30 days and you only need 1 recuperate, for example, if you just spend them all on 1 topic.
Yeah.
But I think on the other side, they kind of have a point that if someone did take a feat investment, which really isn't that big of a deal when you get a feat every 3 levels, and you can choose one, technically one every 4, you get 3 advantages per downtime anyway from Lucky. That actually doesn't seem like comparatively, that doesn't seem like an issue.
I think we can just make it base with that brought up, that particular thing.
I think we, yeah, I think we should at least put a something on it, and then
Mhm.
at a later point, if we still think it's oppressive, we can revisit it.
Yeah, if we think
Yeah,
it's
fair
too
enough.
bad, we can revisit. But I think for now going forward, we can make that feature uh, exhaustive per topic. Yeah, if they're spending 30 days base, they just really want that information to be successful, so that easy clap. One of the things that is on my docket, just remind me of it. Um, for researching, gather information, such topics, I need to make it clear that the DC is the base DC listed, and it will be modified. If someone's, for example, is like, I want to research the existence of dead gods and how to attain their power, I'm like, that's cute. That's going to have a massive boost to the DC because of how rare the information is. So, and then I'll be looking at, like, if they're using a really high quality library, if they have certain lores and whatnot. So, that's currently not listed anywhere. It's implied, but it's not explicitly listed, so that's something that's on my docket to update. Yeah.
They could spend 200 days. So ain't gonna get him shit.
So it might sometimes, but yeah, just I think easy clap, bam boom, add the exhaustive feature to it.
You stare at the moon, Jokey.
That's a good exhaustive clause, yeah. All right. Next topic. Mostly because I'm almost out of battery for my laptop, so we need to go much quicker. I didn't plug it in. I'm a banana. Still scrolling up to try to find the topic list. Oh my goodness. I think I'm almost there. There it is. Cool. All right. I'm just gonna copy these so I don't have to keep scrolling up. All right. Those are the remaining topics. No worries. Ciao, ciao. We already mentioned Divinity updates already, but the party draft will be, per what's listed here, uh, shown publicly as well, so players can give feedback to it once we get the next draft. So, heads up. Retro takeaways. yeah, I've already gone over the end of year survey feedback myself. Um, some of it I already mentioned during this update. Some of it I want to read when I'm not sleepy, so probably next week, and go over that update for next week. Um, some of it were just like, hey, appreciate your faces, staff. Keep up the good work. Um, there wasn't really a lot of submissions, though. I think there was like 8 in total, if I remember correctly. So, but what was there, a lot of them seem to have been um, in consensus on the issues that were at hand, which we've already addressed for this meeting for the most part. So, at least not like we've updated it and fixed it. It's just more of we noted this is a known problem. It's on our docket to be fixed. Yeah. All right. But since we're wanting the retro end of year stuff to be tabled for the future along with end of year survey stuff, I think we can table that for next week in that case, since we've already kind of gone over a little bit of it. Is there anything anyone else would like to bring up for this meeting? The admin meeting, yeah. Indeed. Yeah, I know there's some storyline stuff of note. Um, we can do that in a regional meeting, though. Oh, and the image. I didn't click on it, so the stream got a really, I'd say, illegible version of it. So that's fine. I don't have to go and edit the video. All right. Good, good. Um, I think for the suggestion box forums, we can just go over that next week, just because at this point, I think I have 20% battery life. So I'm running low on time. And I could just plug my laptop in, but my earbuds are at this point at 35% battery life. So limited time for myself. So if anyone else would like to bring up, now's the time. Waiting for people to give a little post in chat or say anything. Tier 2 missions can already happen because level 5 missions exist. They should be more prominent now per what I mentioned at the beginning. Yeah. Yes. Officially given the seal of approval, good to go. Do your thing. You can also officially run prestige missions at this point in time, rather than just saying, "Hey, can I run this with me?" Definitely get with your regional head for prestige missions, but you are officially given the you have my all clear as adventure director to start ruminating on prestige ideas and start providing them. Um, I would say, unlike in the old living world, um, prestige is not something where it's going to be super rare to be approved to run a mission. So if you have ideas you think it's worthy of prestige, check with Joki or Kate or uh, Earlobe, Sitham, so on and so forth, Legacy, to see if it is viable. Um, they might not think it is. They might think it's more of like the boss can be prestige, but not the mission itself. So there's some choices there. Yeah. And just to be clear, for tier 2 content, I only mean level 5 content, 5, 6 technically. Um, just because our player cap is level 5, which is tier 2. Yeah. So if your region is not tier 2 yet, no worries, you can keep things as is.
Yes, the world is still tier 1.
Yeah.
How much XP does the world need to level up?
Once these major updates start triggering, we'll probably be discussing, probably in a couple weeks, probably after our next downtime drop, uh, potentially increasing the cap.
For that, I think we might want to wait, because as it looks like out of the 63 players we have, 13 are level 5.
I thought it was much more than that. Then yeah, no, definitely
I'm
still.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
no,
at
it's
the
not.
central character data bank right now, and I counted 13.
Okay. Then yeah, definitely
A whole
not
bunch are
upgrading
level
our
3 and
cap
4
just yet.
though.
So
I'm also very bad at counting. So it might
good.
be more than that, but it's definitely well below 20%. Or around, at around
And it's
20%.
not like you
But
can't continue to adventure at level 5, unlike Phase 1 of Verum, where you hit level 5 and then that's it. You don't get to do anything. So we
Just
can
level up.
just, like, without leveling, without like increasing the level cap or anything, we can just run level 5 stuff. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
You'd even make it 4 to 5, and if it's like, you get mostly level 4 players, you just tone it down a bit.
okay, I lied. It looks like it's 14, and this does not include. Does
Level
this
5
include the
players
new players?
cannot get EXP. No.
I don't know if this includes any of the new players that were already introduced, but I don't think it does. Oh no, it looks like some of them are. So maybe. Either way, we have 14 level 4 characters or level 5 characters.
I think I'm gonna be level 5 after Kate's mission.
The cap is level 5, so if you do hit level 5, your experience is capped out at the minimum required to hit that level. You cannot gain experience past that. Still playing games, you can still enjoy things, you can still gain other benefits such as coin, potential prestige, and so on and so forth. But yeah, XP cap
Can't get
is the
XP.
minimum. Yeah, can't gain XP. Um, and yes, I was just clarifying things. You do not need to run tier 2 content. It is more prominent now as we have enough players of a level wherein such content can be more uh, viable. If your region is not quite there yet, no problem. Keep doing what you're doing. It's more for like Baruja, I'd say, is probably starting to hit more of the tier 2 stuff at this point in time. So, especially for like, I know Dolder is a lot more of like a mystery focused one, a lot more of like a slow burn. So it makes sense that if you're not quite tier 2 yet in your storyline. Because mysteries themselves tend to be slow burns and more of a. Yeah, it's all good. If you need help, just let people know. I intend, now that the new year is ticking off, to start running some Dollar content, so I'll probably be getting with you and Kate to discuss that. Um, I just need to see how my schedule fits with my new class schedule, because I'm going back full time with this semester, and it's starting Monday. So tomorrow is one of my first day
Okay,
of classes.
it helps. So the best thing about it is the world is not going to be tier two for a very long time. What as is for tier two world to even happen, we need a lot more people than we do. And even if people are level five, the areas are not ready for level tier two.
Yeah, my mention of increasing the world cap was under my impression was we were already pretty close to everyone being level five.
Mm.
That was not the
We're
case. So that's definitely not on the table.
we
I thought it
are
was.
no, we are hitting what we had projected. We would start getting level five people towards winter. So we do have people that are level five, but not enough to like push forward. We're hitting our projected. People are starting to hit five, but they're not like all five
Yeah. And if
due to the uh EXP gains.
yeah, and if you are needing maps, the cartography team is happy to help. They literally are giving character slots to help. Um, so feel free to ask. Uh, I have my massive library still, so if you need things or like encounter maps or the like, you can just ask me. I probably have something for it. So that goes for anyone who needs maps. Most of my maps of actually I think only one of my folders. I have multiple different folders. Uh, are already on our Google Drive in our maps folder. So you might even have something there that's listed already. But yeah, it's there's options. Hopefully it helps out. Uh, if you are stressing, feel free to just take a break, come back at it, or ask for help. So yeah, we're all here to help each other, make sure everyone is having a good time. So
Which does bring up our thing. If you're gonna going to run missions in regions, remember for those that are not heads, you do have to get with the region head and write out your story so that we know what you're doing, so we can advise you on how to go about stuff,
mm,
so that you don't cause any issues or step on people's toes.
I feel that I procrastinate a lot. But yeah, as Kate says, it's
This is not to like stop you from running games and stuff like that. It's more just we want to make sure you're not like doing something that may be out of tier or something that like may step on somebody else's toes who may also be doing the same thing.
mhm,
And it helps us out so we know what you're doing to give advice.
yeah. Also, as a quick reminder, since we're in the new year and whatnot, um, if you're running missions, uh, it is a great help if you indicate like what's been going on in your missions at this point, since if you haven't done it in a while, that is, just post in your regional channel what's going on with your storylines, what's going on with your plots. That way we can start collaboration. I've been playing a lot of It Takes Two, so collaboration, um, and like perhaps intertwining these storylines, helping the world feel the changes that have been going on. If you haven't been communicating, I know people have, but
Also,
yeah, notable.
when you finish a full mission, turn in your PGRs so we know what people are getting.
Yes, I should do that.
DMs.
I haven't done it
Damn it, Nerf. We
yet.
we told you this last time.
I know, I'm bad. I was busy with work. I took on like I basically was full time in December. How many shifts I was covering.
But yes, when you for the DMs, when you finish a full mission, not sessions, your full mission, remember to turn in your PGR because we do need it for record keeping, so that we know what
Hmm.
players are getting in case we have to retcon stuff, or so we can settle things like disputes or whatever. So we have a paper trail, Google Trail, Doc
Hmm.
Trail. Yeah,
forms that we can
Yeah,
track
yeah.
with.
Yes.
My game
That particular
receipts.
form is pinned, I believe, in
Yes.
the adventure folders. So yeah,
Yes.
it's accessible. It's there. It's not really highly advertised, so hey, look, we're highly advertising it now. Yeah. Anything else to bring up and discuss at this point? Because I'm now like a couple minutes left of a battery life.
That's about it. The only thing we have is we have one possible full-time DM and 2 part-time DMs.
I notice it's good stuff right there.
Which I hope it's a full-time DM. I'm not entirely sure.
All right.
Either way, it's still 3 DMs.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Seems that is everyone holding their peace at this point. Uh, appreciate everyone's help. Hope you all enjoyed your holidays. Hope everyone enjoys um, getting back into the swing of things, enjoying their games of D&D, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna close the recording here.